Disclaimer: a journey through sacred mystery. This channel is not here to bash the Bible, disrespect religion, or challenge anyone's personal beliefs. In fact, it's quite the opposite. We believe that the Bible is one of the most fascinating, complex, and powerful books ever written, a sacred text that has shaped civilizations, cultures, and consciousness itself. But within its pages lie questions, contradictions, mysteries, and untold layers that often go unspoken. This is a safe space for those who wonder, for the curious, the seekers, the thinkers who've silently asked, wait, how does that part make sense? Or, why is this story told two different ways? And most of all, what if there's more to this than we were taught? We're not here to claim we have all the answers. We're here to explore the questions most people are afraid to ask out loud. This channel is for education, deep thought, and respectful exploration. We break down stories from Genesis to Revelation, not to destroy faith, but to strengthen understanding, to pull apart what's written, and look closer at what's in between the lines. So whether you're a believer, a skeptic, or just someone who loves a good mystery, welcome. Let's read it again. But this time, let's ask everything. The Bible opens with the majestic line, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth." But as we read further, something strange happens. The Bible doesn't give us one creation story, it gives us two. Genesis chapter 1 presents a cosmic overview. It shows a methodical, 6-day creation. Humans are the climax. So God created mankind in his own image, male and female. He created them, equal, simultaneous, and divine. Then comes Genesis chapter 2, and the tone shifts. This isn't the grand universe anymore. It's a garden. A man is formed from the dust alone. The woman doesn't appear until later, crafted from his rib after a search among the animals for a suitable partner. These are not minor differences. These are two different narratives. Scholars have long debated this, and most agree. Genesis contains two sources, traditionally known as the Elohist and the Yahwist. One describes God as Elohim, transcendent creator. The other as Yahweh, a more personal, hands-on deity. But this raises a serious question. Why does a book that is supposed to be divinely inspired contain two contradictory origin stories side by side? Is it a mistake? A poetic device? Or evidence that Genesis is a compilation of oral traditions from different times and places stitched together for theological purposes? And if the Bible was divinely breathed, does that make God the author of contradiction? Or is something deeper at play, layers, symbols, hidden meanings the surface doesn't reveal? What if these two stories aren't meant to be literal history, but mirrors of the human condition, the cosmic version of who we are, and the personal version of how we awaken? This isn't just about what happened thousands of years ago. This is about how we understand ourselves, our origin, and the source of consciousness itself. The story of Adam and Eve isn't just a tale of disobedience, it's the Bible's first real drama. A garden, a tree, a command, and a choice. God places the tree of knowledge of good and evil at the center of Eden and forbids eating from it. But why place it there at all? Why give a command, knowing it will be broken? Was it a test or a trap? When the serpent appears, we're told it's the most cunning of all creatures. But what's never explained is why it talks, or how it knew the consequences of the fruit. Some early Jewish and Christian thinkers believed the serpent wasn't just a tempter, it was a symbol of enlightenment. In Gnostic tradition, the serpent represents wisdom, not evil. After Adam and Eve eat the fruit, their eyes are opened. They realize they are naked. Shame enters the world, but so does awareness, consciousness, the knowledge of morality. Genesis 3:22. God says, "Behold, the man has become like one of us, knowing good and evil. Who is us? Why does God sound threatened by human awareness? Could it be that the real fall was not about sin but about evolution? About humanity becoming aware, stepping out of divine control and into free will? What if the serpent wasn't the villain but the spark? What if the garden wasn't paradise but a gilded cage? What if? Cain and Abel are the first children of Adam and Eve. They bring offerings to God, but only Abel's is accepted. Cain, burning with jealousy, kills his brother. This is the first murder, the first blood spilled on earth. And God punishes Cain not with death, but with exile. But what happens next is where the story takes a strange turn. Genesis 4:16 says, Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and settled in the land of Nod, east of Eden. There, he finds a wife. He builds a city. But hold on. Where did this wife come from? Where did the people in the city come from? If Adam, Eve, Cain, and Abel were the first humans, who were these others? The Bible is silent. Some argue Adam and Eve had many children. But Genesis never says that before Cain leaves. Modern science tells us Homo sapiens have existed for over 200,000 years. But a literal reading of Genesis gives us a timeline of less than 10,000. Can both be true? Maybe the question isn't when Adam lived, but who he was. What if Adam wasn't the first human, but the first awakened one? The first to receive a divine spark, to know good and evil, to carry consciousness beyond instinct. Many ancient cultures, from Sumer to Egypt, speak of gods creating or modifying man. Perhaps Genesis is the Hebrew version of a global myth, one that remembers not the origin of species, but the birth of soul. Adam may not have been alone biologically, but spiritually. Chosen, separated, tasked with something greater. When God breathes into Adam's nostrils the breath of life, is this literal air or symbolic of awareness, reason, divinity? This theory doesn't destroy faith. It expands it. It says Genesis wasn't wrong. It was speaking in code. Maybe Adam wasn't the first human being. He was the first human becoming. Genesis is not just a story of beginnings. It's a mirror, a map, a mystery. Its contradictions aren't errors. They're invitations to think deeper, to question harder, to seek truth beyond tradition. Maybe the Garden of Eden was never about a perfect past, but about the pain and wonder of becoming truly human. We're not here to destroy belief, but to challenge certainty, to ask the questions buried beneath the verses. This is just the beginning. The Bible is full of secrets, from Genesis to Revelation, and we're going to uncover them all. Subscribe if you're ready to see what's been hidden in plain sight.